I'm officially done with my math degree. I'm not done with college in general. I'm in my last semester right now. I'm still finishing up my history degree, my double major. But as of this December, when I took my last math final ever, uh, I'm done with my math degree. And it feels weird. And let me say why. I've done math, throughout my schooling since I was a child. And I went into college thinking first off that I'd be an astrophysicist, but that didn't particularly work out as well as I expected. But then I pivoted towards math, man, because it was still something that I enjoyed doing and I was pretty good at. And then as I went on through my math career, it got more difficult, got more interesting, and I understood even less, and was worse at it over the time. But I kept scraping out B's for the majority of my classes. The real analysis being the fun kicker here. But last semester, I took my last math class that I would ever take for a grade, being complex analysis. Um, when I passed that, I got a B in it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the professor. I enjoyed all the content. I thought it was really interesting. Um, but I'm done now. I finished all my requirements I needed. I did my my 9 classes total that I took for grades, and then the one I withdrew from. And it feels weird. And I don't have any plans to pursue mathematics at a higher education level. I feel like I could barely do it, or at like an even higher education level, I suppose. Because I could barely do it at a bachelor's level. Like I was struggling the majority of the way through my last 2 years here doing math. The analysis was ridiculous, and I just could never really wrap my head around doing rigorous proofs in that sort of way. But it begs the question, because it's been part of my life for as long as it has, what do I do next, kind of, with that? Because I still have my history to finish up. I'm finishing up my double major in history, and by that I'm taking one history class this semester, being a seminar, where we're reading basically a book a week, and we're preparing to write a gigantic research paper. Um, and so that's keeping my mind, sharp with all the history things, and I can see a million different ways how I keep up with history like after I'm done with school, including even maybe going into history as a graduate program. But with math, there's no. I think it's less accessible outside of school than history, and it kind of begs the question: well, I just spent 4 years of my life dedicated solely on learning math. Obviously I have my gen eds and I have everything else, but I spent 4 years talking and doing solely math courses. And then I'm going to stop. I've done it since kindergarten. I've done my 16 years of math, and now I'm going to stop after I graduate. It feels empty in a kind of way. Because I'm not taking a math class this semester, or like a rigorous math class. I'm taking one to fulfill a gen ed that I completely forgot about doing, which is a tale for another time. But after this spring semester, I won't be in a classroom setting to do math, very specifically, ever again as the learner. And I feel like it's kind of weird to think of it in that way, to where I just spent 4 years getting my toes wet with all these advanced topics like linear algebra and differential equations, which I think I got more than my toes wet considering I took 3 classes in differential equations. But analysis and abstract algebra and even complex analysis or complex, applications. And then I'm going to stop doing it. I've decided, my schooling has decided that I'm not going to do it anymore. And I don't know how to think about that, honestly, as a person, because I've very publicly described my struggles with math over time. But I also have described how much I like it. Also, my camera's definitely falling down. Sorry, I just realized it was like slowly tilting down as I was talking. But after 16 years, specifically after 4 years of being introduced to all these abstract and higher level topics, I'm gonna just like I've stopped. I've stopped. I'm not gonna keep going. I have no chance realistically at exploring this at a graduate level. My grades were not good enough. My understanding of the material was simply not good enough. Which is its own, that's another thing that's really weird to comprehend in its own right. How it's like, now it's simply, if I were to want to keep learning, there are other barriers of entry to it that I simply don't control anymore. And that's a weird thing. But it's how do like what this is like an actual question. This is not like I'm posing my thoughts here. But this is an actual question. Like how do I go about continuing like how do I go about realizing that I'm done with math? Because after I took my final for complex, I did the math, funnily enough, and I was basically I calced it out. I was like, there's almost no way realistically I fail this class. It all depended on the final. Obviously, the final wasn't worth even that much of my grade, but it was still it depended on the final. And I was like, there's almost realistically no way I fail this class. And so leaving that classroom after I took the final, I was like, okay, this is new. This is definitely new. Because I've felt experiences of relief after taking finals, specifically real analysis, as I've also felt feelings of fear after taking exams, such as real analysis. But it's like with this one, I kind of I left the classroom and I was like, wow, huh. And it was just a deep breath. I walked out and I just felt like I felt like, okay. Because it was my last exam of the season as well. And I was like, okay, I'm, I'm done. Like that's it. And I got my exam grade back in like 2 days or something really, really short. And I looked at it and I saw I got like an 80 or something, like which was I was like in 75, which got me a B in the class. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm okay with that. That's on par with my other exams, minus my first one, which was really bad. Um, but then now like that's kind of when it hit me. I think like this is like it's like a it's foreshadowing what I'm actually gonna feel when I graduate, and I have to realize that I'm never gonna be in school at this capacity again. But like this is for math specifically. It's like okay, this is the thing that I've been passionate about. Whether I've jokingly said I've hated it over and over again, or if I've actually said I've hated it over and over again, it's still like this is something I'm passionate about. This is something I've done. I've spent blood, sweat, and tears hours of my life doing, and now I'm done. And there's no realistic way to continue. And so it's like I've thought about the other methods. I've thought about, self-studying, or I've thought about, I keep up with other things in math. Like I've never done fucking number theory, but like I've looked into number theory like on Reddit and the internet. And it's like, oh, I feel like I can realistically do the same with other subjects of math that I am interested in. And there are some areas of math that I feel like I can actually somewhat understand what's going on, especially like history of math. Like that's applicable to me. I can learn that. That will be useful for my life. Um, and like dynamic like and differential equations, I feel like I can follow. At least I can understand what they're trying to even make me understand in a long way. But there's no point of this video besides like saying, hey, I'm alive still. I still have the new mic, but I broke the mic stand. Trying to take my mic home, which I have some of the pieces on my desk here. I don't know how to fix it, which is an issue. I think that I'm gonna have to deal with. I don't even know if I'm gonna upload this because it's really late, and I had like one of those random strokes of inspiration um, to do something productive. Um, I feel like I can make an actual video later talking about what I'm doing in history this semester because I think that's going to be really interesting, at least for some perspective, just to kind of voice some of my thoughts of that. And then I can think I can do, because I've made like all the math classes I've taken so far, and we haven't added many math classes since that video, but I think it could be interesting to see like now I'm done. Like I can take a farther back perspective, not having to worry about, oh, I still have these requirements, so like I have to think about X, Y, and Z. It's more like I'm done now. These are my final thoughts, type of a thing. Um, but I don't know. I'm done with math. I'm done with it. Like if I plan my schedule like if I was even like a little bit smarter with my schedule, I could have been graduated, but I wasn't because I'm an idiot. So that's something also that's kind of interesting to think about. But I don't know. I'm done with math. I'm done with my math degree. I have 2 required classes left to take. I'm taking a soccer class. I'm literally going outside for like an hour twice a week and playing soccer. And like I'm that's just like part like that's paid for from my tuition. That's something I get to do because I chose to do it because I was bored. But it's like that's all something else. But I'm done with math. That's gonna be the title of the videos. I'm done with math or something along those lines. And it's weird. It's a hollow feeling. I'm done with something I've been passionate about for a long time. There's realistically no way for me to continue doing it at the level that I've been doing it for the past 4 years, and that's an odd feeling. It feels hollow. It feels happy. I feel very much happiness that I'm not doing it because it's stressful as hell. But it feels hollow because there's nothing I can like hyper fixate on and be like super interested in. And I don't know. It's weird. I got a semester left and then I'm done. And then that'll be a hell of an emotional video to have to, or like emotions to have to come to terms with. But until that happens, uh, yeah, I'm done with math.